Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with this REM, and it's the continuance of the introduction to the Blender. So we left off in the last video where we introduced you to the 3D viewer header bar on the left side. We're going to go ahead and do the 3D viewer header bar in the center and see all of these different options that are available. So we have the transformation orientation, we have the pivot point, snap tool, where to snap to, the proportional editing, and the fall off for the proportional editing. So we're just going to cover that real quick. And again, these are tools that you need to be familiar with just to get started in Blender. And honestly, this is just something to get you familiar where things at and where things live and what you would use often and what you might not use at all. So we're just going to continue to move right along in this lesson. So we created a monkey this last time, and I think that's the best. That would be the best thing to use for now. So I'm just going to delete, or I deleted this box. You can delete by selecting an object, hitting delete like I just did, or you can go the options way of object and delete at the bottom. So there's always your options are here to do whatever you need to do to whatever you're selecting. So just like this light, I'm not going to delete the light because we might need that a little later. So with the monkey head selected, what I want to do is do some transform. I want to show you what this transformation orientation is about. So we have the global being that it's not usually the best for in object mode, but let's say we were in edit mode. I guess it'll be good in object mode as well, but it's just easier to explain in edit mode right now. So you have global manipulation here, and how I turn on I will go over how to do this in a second in the next video actually. Well, I'll just go over it. If you don't see when you select the object when you're in edit mode that there's the rotation scale, transformation scale and rotation aren't there, you can, this is a jump forward to the next lesson, but you can go to this arrow looking thing where it looks like the mesh or looks like the object and it has the arrows which you're kind of wanting, and in object gizmo, and just go ahead and check these on. They're by default they're off, but we're just going to check them on and just leave it like that. So when you're in global mode, global being, this whole scene, you have an x-axis, you have a y-axis, the green one, you have a z-axis, the blue one, and everything is backwards actually. So we're gonna go ahead and just flip them around because I tend to really not like to be a perfectionist in a way. So I want things to positive Y where the arrows are pointing, positive X is red, positive Y is back, positive Z is up, which is different from Maya or 3D Max where Y, or even in geometry or trigonometry, usually Y is up and Z is out into space, but Blender has it different. So just keep that in mind for once you get past that hurdle, it's pretty much smooth sailing after that. I know it's weird. I don't know why they have it like that. I'm pretty sure you can find it in forum why it is like that, but I wasn't taught that in school, so I don't know. grade school, by the way. Oh yeah. So we're trying to do the transformation. So we're gonna go back into edit mode, and you see global being essentially what I just told you. As this whole scene, as the world behind them, we want to move this in the Z-axis or the X-axis of the whole world. We want to move this of everywhere. We want to move it east to west or north to south. You know, that's how of the whole world. Just think of it like that. So you can have multiple objects here, but you want to say we want to move everything back in the whole world, or to the left or to the right, whatever. All right, local being for this object only, or for this face only. Normal being for this individual face. I mean, so local is for the actual object, which in now I have to give you an example. It just wouldn't make sense not to give you an example. So let's rotate this guy like this. Locally, now if we want to move what we call in the x-axis, you see it moves upwards, because locally he's rotated. So simple as that. I'm not going to go too far into it, but you should get it. So transforming it with the normal, you can now pull these faces out or in. So you can suck his head out, or you suck his head in, just like that. Or you could slide his head down, but it's transforming or translating the location by calculating the direction of the face. That makes sense. You'll get the lingo as you go along. Trust that. Gimble is one of those things I'm still not too familiar with. I mean, I learned about it when we were talking about rigging, but it's just something that never stuck with me. And again, if I really want to know, if I really use it, I don't use it often, but if I really want to know, just simply right clicking, look at the resources, see what it means. Simple as that. But I never use it. So this is for the view. So wherever my direction my camera's at, it's gonna rotate, scale, do all that stuff from that, or translate from that direction. Cursor being this cursor here. So simple as that. Which that was a bad example. Cursor being I don't know why it's not doing it from the cursor, but okay. I'm having confused, but yeah, cursor, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I was thinking it was a 3D cursor here. So 3D when you put it on, now you have all of these other options. So when you put it on 3D cursor, you'll be able to rotate from the 3D cursor or translate from the 3D cursor. That's what I was trying to do. It's right next to the transform orientation. And this orientation, this is your pivot point. So establishing where your pivot point is, which I should have read it, but YouTube is harder than you think. Okay, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we're going to do from the pivot point, you have the bounding box 3D cursor, which I just showed you. It rotates and translates from this little 3D cursor here, where you can set it anywhere in the scene that you want to. Individual origins, median points. That's if you have multiple objects. Let's do that real quick. So let's say I created multiple objects like this. Well, the median point between all three of these, well, let's do a little more dramatic than that. The median point between all three of these objects is right here. So now I'll be able to rotate around that median point. That's what median point is. That's usually what I go with. Individual origins being, if you have all of these objects selected, they still rotate on their individual origin. active element, so everything will rotate around what's the last thing you selected, or probably the first thing you selected. Nope, the last thing you selected, so that's the active origin. That's pretty cool. I never used this before, but it's this origins, what did it say? Only origins. So it's kind of doing like an active origin and rotating on its individual at the same time, which I might use that later. That's pretty nice. That actually makes for a real quick animation right there. And again, that's exactly why I want to click through everything. Want you to click through everything. I want to click through everything, because you might, one thing you might click on, you might learn something new that might make your whole pipeline that much easier. And especially if you're writing a Python code, you can add that in there pretty simply. What's it say? Manipulate origins, objects, pose, and weight paint mode only. So it manipulates the origins. And you see how I just did that. Some of these things, if you just simply hover over and just leave your mouse there, it'll tell you exactly what it is. So you can do that. So we're going to go ahead and set this back to the default individual origin, and go ahead and delete these two. Woo! Yeah. All right. So one more thing in this actual video. So we have two more things in this video. So in this thing we have called snap. Snap allowing you to, when you are editing something, you select this. This is a magnet. Think of it as a magnet. Select this magnet and say, I want to take this point and I want it to, or better yet, maybe make something dramatic. Because I want to take this point. Well, this is activating snap, but you have to choose. This is where you choose what you're going to snap to. So increment being, it'll snap to every I guess value of 1. Think of this as a grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Every line being 1 meter in real world space. Every line it'll snap. So it'll snap, 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 snap. So that you can get a precise, more of a precise measurement on what you're trying to do. Vertex. Usually the one I use the most, because I end up merging vertices together. But you can take this vertex and snap it to that one, and that makes it look like one. So that's when you're doing modeling. So you can take this, snap it, take it, snap it. Simple as that. I do not recommend modeling like that though. Well, what I just created. Definitely snap, but don't model like that. You can snap to edges. So snap and it'll go along this edge, and you can pretty much slide it along the edge there. Just like that. So you can snap things to edges. You can snap objects to edges. You can snap them to faces. You can snap to volume. And again, let's give an example of that. So Shift D, we're going to snap this object. Or would I be able to snap the object to a face on something else? No, I won't be able to do that. What's a quick? I'm trying to think something quick I can do. Alright. I'm going to forgive all of these shortcuts that I'm using right now, because I'm just doing this for the purpose of trying to show you. So we're going to snap this object here to the face, to a face. So what we're going to do is first turn the tool back on. But see, it should snap right to this head, or right to this face right here. Something like that. I'll probably have to play around with that. Never used that tool before. Definitely should. I mean, I know there's definitely good reasons to use that tool, because if you're trying to, let's say, put a screw on his head and you want it to sit perfectly on his head, then you snap to it. You snap to it. It's simple. But I don't use snap often. I usually just snap vertices together and keep it like that. Okay, so then you have one more for this middle menu part, is what we call the incremental, or is it incremental? Is it called incremental? Proportional editing. Proportional editing being, let's go to the options for proportional editing. As you see, there's a trend here. You have the toggle on to the left, then you have the options of what you can toggle to the right. So toggle it on, blue, options to the right. So we're going to do connected only, and we're going to do smooth, and pretty much it's going to allow you to, for one, when it's off, I can move this one vertex, and it no matter how much I move, it's just going to pop it up. But if you want something a little more smooth, you just pop this on, click, left mouse click, and then roll your mouse wheel, and you can see that the editor circle is getting bigger. So then I could pull his whole forehead up, and it manipulates all the vertices around it. So now you get a much smoother edit. Now he's a cone head, just like that. In comparison to, you know, if you grab this one vertex that we turned it off, we grab this one vertex, now you get like one rogue vertex. And you'd have to, well, back when I was first learning how to do 3D, I would end up selecting all of this stuff, which again, it was therapeutic as well, you know. But I sit here and select all this stuff and actually manipulate it one by one and look around it and see if it's perfect and do it that way. But again, you can just select this proportional editing tool, scale it up, and boom. And let me see if I can. Yep, so just like that. So that's all of the options, the proportional, or going back over the options. So these are all of the options for the middle part of the header here when you're in 3D view, in the 3D viewport. So hopefully that's helpful. This one did run kind of long. It is a little more information in regards to how to do this, but now you kind of know what this part of the viewer or the interface does and where this lives. And then in the next video, we're going to go over all of these options where you can toggle how the whole scene looks and how you can manipulate the whole scene and how it looks. So when you're doing these edits and editing your scene, you can have a better vision of what you're going to render in the end. So we'll just get right to it in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll just see you in the next video. Later, y'all.